Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I can't hear you. Good afternoon. My name is Juanita. I teach in the Wayne Westland Schools and Dearborn School District. So there they call me Mama J. So can you say hi, Mama J?
Hi, Mama J.
I attend the RCCG Winners Chapel Church, where it's predominantly Nigerian. And these are my dance ministers, the Joy of the Lord. Really? So in our church, in our culture, someone my age, they will call me Auntie Juanita. So you can either call me Auntie Juanita, or you can call me Mama J, whatever is good for you, okay? All right, so today I am going to represent the African American culture. You know, there are a lot of diversity in a lot of cultures, but you're going to find out in most cultures we have a lot of similarities. So my topic today would be, we are one, okay? Before I show you my next slide, I want to know if you know, how many countries are in Africa? Do you know? Who knows the answer? How many countries are in Africa? David, how many countries are in Africa? 47. 47? He's correct, but when you add the islands around Africa, how many countries are in Africa when you add all the islands including Madagascar? 40. What's your name, sir? Yes? Caleb, how many countries do you think total? He's right, it's 47, but you have little islands around Africa. So how many do you think it is total? 7. Total, it is 53. Total countries in Africa. Okay, so my first slide is. Can I get my first slide? In the beginning. Look at it. In the beginning, it's a scientific fact that the origin of life began in Africa. The University of Cambridge did a study, and they studied the head, the skulls of people, over 6,000 skulls, and they studied the DNA, that's the genetic makeup of each and every one of us, and they found out that the origin of life began in Africa. Next slide. In Nigeria, they are one of the largest countries in Africa, but the absolute largest country in Africa is Algeria. Algeria is the largest country in Africa, okay? Nigeria is very popularly referred to as the giant Africa. It is known for its cultural diversity. It has over 100 different ethnic groups, tribes, and languages. The three major groups in Nigeria is the Yoruba tribe. So my children over here, how many of you are Yoruba? Those that held their hand up, they're Yoruba. We have the Igbo tribe in here. How many of you are Igbo? The gentleman that has a camera, he's also Igbo. And Hasso. Anybody from that tribe? So those are the three top tribes in Africa, okay? And I'm sorry, in Nigeria. So the tribe that I'm going to focus on today is the Yoruba tribe because one, the guy that I'm going to marry soon, he's from the Yoruba tribe, and also a lot of the members at our church are from the Yoruba tribe. They're really known for being outgoing. They love to wear jewelry, dress very, very well. They wear a head tie. This is called what is called a gele. Can you say gele?
Gele.
So what is the head tie called? Gele. Yes. Actually, this is paper. Can you believe that? Does it look like paper to you? No. It starts paper. So when this paper gets not looking what I want it to look like, I spray starch on it and I iron it again, and it gives me my crisp look that it just doesn't look good right now. The wrap skirt that you see me wearing is called a buba. I'm sorry. It's called an ero, and the shirt is called a buba, and the hat is called a gele. So the woman that you see on the screen, right here, she's looking like a traditional Yoruba woman with the jewelry and the beads with the gele in her hair. Isn't she beautiful?
Yes.
Next slide, please. There are several cultural traditions in Africa. And one of the traditions you will see is what they call tribal or cultural marks. The first 7 days when the child is born, and the African tribes and the culture set practices type of tribal marking, the child is isolated from the family. He's just with his mom. On the 7th day of his birth, they do these markings. So if you see this little baby, he's just a baby. So just anybody can't do these type of markings. It has to be someone that is skilled and know how to do this. And so when they get older, this is what the markings look like. Back in the day, when slavery, you know, most of us were descended from Africa, coming from the motherland. They were selling our children and our people to other countries into slavery. So what they did to also, out of fear, to know what tribe, or if they seen someone, if they left that region, say they were in the southern region and went north, if they seen someone with those tribal cultural marks, they knew that that person was from their tribe, so they knew they were friend and not the enemy, so they weren't afraid of them. Also, it identified the tribe that they came from. So that's why you'll see, I don't know if you have anybody seen these type of markings? I know our children have. Yeah, so, I mean, even like now, if you see some of the gangs down in LA, the Crips, the Blood and all that, they got the markers on their face. They mark saying what type of gang they identify with. So they mark themselves with these type of markings. So that's coming all the way back from an African tradition. People, when they markings, tattoos, that's coming all the way back from Africa. Okay. In Africa, they love to dance. They love to dance to drums. Drums is like one of the #1 instruments that they want to dance to, and trumpets. So you're gonna see some. We got some great stuff for you later. So you're gonna see some of the dances, and I want y'all to come up and y'all gonna do some of the dances that they do in the Nigerian culture and different cultures around Africa. Africa, especially the Nigerians, they're a social group. In other words, collective group. They like to do things together. So if they're cooking, you'll see them getting together. Somebody may do the meat, somebody may do the yams, somebody may do the vegetables. but you'll always see them having festive events, something like New Orleans. Have anybody went to New Orleans for the Mardi Gras or anything in New Orleans to see the big dances and stuff they do on the street? Have anybody? So in Africa, you'll see a lot of the dancing, like right here, they're having a big celebration. Right here, they're cooking together in one of the tribes, and right here, the whole entire street has stopped for this big celebration. The top African dances that you're gonna see also when the children come back up, this is the lingo. Right now, they do the lingo. They do the azanto. They do the makusa and the mapuka. So those are some of the top dances. Mind if you go to, if you go I got the first dance. So, it's called pigs. Yes. So, if you look at my first the next dance is called the azanto. That's the #2 dance going on right now. And later you're gonna do this dance also.
I want to share the stuff that everyone's doing over there. Cupid trying to show me how to do it. He sent me down to this place. And he said to me,
For some of you that are
nobody want to see
older,
you ride
this
it.
dance
But
is
if you
like
don't
a
even
two-step.
like it, they just want to see you even crack it. Drive a song, you don't need the license. All of us can even ride it. Go ahead with the feet just like this. Then they show you the latest. Walk over the pages. What you do when you're so dumb?
And this is one of the hottest dances going on right now. All over.
Now watch me do my so
The next dance,
now watch me do my
I'm gonna do a couple. This is the makusa. Oh, that one. Right now. Now, what does this dance look like? What? Twerk. Yes, the twerk. This dance looks like the twerk, doesn't it? So guess what? We are one, right? They on the wall and they twerking and all that.
I can do that.
Well, they don't have a wall right there, but just can you imagine? So again, can you see the similarity? How we are so much like our ancestors? You know, that's the twerk. I don't care what anybody says. Some people want to get credit for inventing stuff. Well, all this stuff comes from where? Africa, yes. The origin of life began where? In Africa. Very, very good. Next slide. Thank you. Yes. One thing you would notice in Africa, you'll see, if you ever get a chance to visit, there's a lot of royal heritage there. I was very privileged to know someone that was a king from Africa. He was from the Yoruba tribe as well. And it's very customary for some of them to have multiple wives. So they may have up to 3 wives. There was a person in the paper, he's from the nation, yes, sir. Yeah, yes. That's how you go. No, Eddie Murphy looked like that, tells me, with that royal garb. You wore that the royal garb, yes. Certain royal families, that's tradition that they have what they call hand servants. And they do the washing. They take in Egypt, they have such beautiful silky skin because they bathe in milk. They bathe in milk. Milk is so good as far as we call it emollients. And you bathe it in milk and it keeps your skin pure and everything. But that's not the norm. That's an exception. Meaning that most people do bathe themselves. But when you're in a royal family, you got all these people feeding you, taking care of your hair, taking care of your dress. That's the exception. Yes, sir. Now, I am actually American. Yeah, I'm American. Because all my life, I've loved Africa. My oldest daughter that's videotaping, her name is Ashe. In Africa, they pronounce it Ashe. And it means amen or I agree with God. So her name is Yoruba. My other daughter, Naomi, her middle name is Zane, and that's Swahili. And I, at a very young age, I had a passion about Africa. When I was 13 years old, I had my father cut all my hair off to this short, and my mother screamed. And I said, Mom, what's the problem? I love Africa that much, and I wanted to look African. I wanted to be African. So when I went to college at Marigold College, I studied African culture. A lot of my classes were African culture. I studied the art. I studied the clothes. I studied the maths. I studied everything because I love Africa that much. And then I go to a Nigerian church. So what I missed growing up, I'm learning from my children, from my brothers and sisters there. So I love Africa. Then I do research. I didn't just come and say, okay, I'm gonna just say anything there. I did some research in addition to what I already knew. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yeah, so this is what a traditional royal priest would look. Now in our culture, I say our because I feel like I'm Yoruba. When we greet each other, we bow. That's a lot like the Asian culture. Have you seen any anime or any Asian stuff? Who like Asian anime? Alright, any of that. Have you noticed that in the Asian culture, when they see each other, they bow? Well, in our culture, when we see each other, in the Yoruba culture, we bow too. Now, this first picture right here, this is a typical way that someone would bow to their father or to a king. They lay down prostrate. We call it prostrate. They come all the way down to the floor and they prostrate before him. Have anybody ever seen anything like this? Other than where were you at when you saw that? You were. Mm-hmm. So it's very normal. So when I see any of them, when they see, they call me auntie, and they keep going, or most of the time they bow, then they give me a hug. I love hugs, lots and lots of hugs. So that's very normal in our culture. And that's a sign of respect. So if you think about it, if we're at school, if everybody bows to each other, and respect them like that. Wouldn't that be a much easier way of living? If everybody respect each other, isn't that awesome? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, baby. So this is a typical way that a royal king would look in Africa. Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions? Yes. That concludes this part of our presentation, but what I wanted to say is I've traveled all over the world. I've been to the Bahamas, I've been to Haiti, I've been to Jamaica 9 times, to England, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, Cancun, Mexico. But from what I understand, there is no country like Africa. They say once you step your foot there, you'll know it. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. You'll feel the energy. You will know that you're in the motherland. So, yes, sir.
Did you ever see an animal?
I'm going soon. I haven't went yet, but you can ask this gentleman right here. Have you seen any animals speaking like that in Africa? Have you seen any animals? He's probably not ready to speak. Let me get that video. Go ahead.
It was like a big horse.
What did you see in Africa? Yeah.
A horse.
You saw her. What did you see, woman? She's seen a lion. What did you see?
What you say?
Yes, what did you see?
It's like kind of like an elk, but they call it the African unicorn, but the horn is at the side curve.
She said it's kind of like an elk. It's the African unicorn. The horn is on the side. What did you see, LaFayette?
Zebras.
What did you see? Giraffe? In Africa? Oh. In Africa, did you see any animals in Africa?
Oh yeah.
What?
Like I saw, like
Have you been
zebras.
to Africa?
Yeah, when I was little,
Oh, okay. Oh, Katina,
but I
what
still
did you see?
remember.
You saw goats? Oh yeah, lots of goats in Jamaica. Lots of goats. What did you see? She's seen lots of chickens. What did you see, David?
A rhino.
A rhino. Wow, that's the number one. That's the number one. Yes,
She said
sir.
that's the number.
They're not the same. Jamaica is in the Caribbean, on a Caribbean island near Cuba. Africa is on the other side of the world. But again, where did the origin of life begin?
Africa.
Right. What is the largest country in Africa?
Algeria.
How many countries are in Nigeria?
53.
53 total. But the base count is 47. But when you include the 7 little items around it, it's 53, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what I was saying is, that should be everybody's dream, to go to Africa, to study, to be a part, to see where we all came from. You know, they have a DNA test that you can get, and it'll tell you which tribe you came from. Isn't that cool? To take it and be like, wow, I'm from this type of tribe. Yeah, so that's what I want to do, hopefully, before I travel to Africa soon. I want to take this test, and it will tell me exactly what tribe I came from in Africa. Are there any other questions? Yes? Okay. No? Go ahead. Any other questions? Yes, sir. I'm supposed to be there right now, but I made a promise to my very dear friend, Miss Ernest, so that's why I'm here. So,
Are you coming back?
yes, by God's grace, I plan on coming back.
When you come back here?
Tell you about it? Okay, I'll give you my business card before I leave, so you can call me in a couple of months and I'll tell you my experience, okay? Make sure you have your mom's permission, okay? All right, yes, sir.
Don't they have a lot of poison animals in that?
Yes, they do, but fortunately, I'll be staying in a hotel. So hopefully there's nothing in the hotel. But I don't plan on going to safari at all. Yes, ma'am. That's what I heard. I haven't been there yet. I'm going. So if we see each other again next year, if y'all call me, I promise you I'm gonna tell you the entire experience. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be on YouTube with the experience. Okay? Yes, ma'am. You wanna go to Japan? Why you wanna go to Japan? To the pyramid in Africa? Oh, yes. Do you know to this day, they still don't know how they built those pyramids? Can you imagine when you're building buildings here, you got all these big construction buildings, right? All these machines building it. Do you know that they can't imagine how the Egyptians built these pyramids, even today? They can't imagine how they, and no one to this day can build those pyramids like that. It's so exquisite, so beautiful. Yes, there is. The origin of life is Africa. So yes, we are descendants of Africa. Yes, Katie.
Question. Oh, that question. Just for anyone that wants to go to Africa, if you're gonna like stay at a house, their house is like really, really big. I mean, not that.
Yeah. If you, I have a lot of African videos and I see the houses there. They are huge. Yes, baby. Lots of sand beaches. Beautiful beaches. Lots of water. Yes, sir. Absolutely. If you go to Lagos, used to be the capital of Nigeria, now Abuja is, it looks like New York. It looks like New York. So can you imagine Africa looking like New York? Because you're thinking about being in a bush, like the Lion King or Madagascar or something like that. No, we have some very developed places in Africa. Yes, lots of hotels. Matter of fact, my hotel is going to be on the ocean. Yes, sir.
Well, if your capital looks like New York, that would be a lot of buildings.
I know. Yes, a lot of lights too. Yes, sir. Yes, but see, over in Africa, the way that we have electricity, they call it the current. Their current go out all the time because it's either overload or some kind of government shuts it down just to save and conserve. So I could be talking to someone on the phone, and if the current goes out, they don't have a charge, they can't talk to me. Sometimes they can go months without no electricity, so they have a generator over there that backs up the electricity so they can watch TVs like that. Now you know how we have our Androids, our 5G and 4G and all that phones? The number one phone in Africa that they love to use is what? BlackBerry.
Oh, yeah.
Now here in America, back in the day, the BlackBerry was used for business people. But because of the way the signal is set up in Africa, BlackBerries are very, very good in Africa. So they use the BlackBerry. So you know how we have free internet, or in most cases on our phones, that we can get on Wi-Fi and all that different things? They have to buy every single thing in Africa. So if they want to get on the internet, they have to go to what they call a cafe. You know how we almost everybody's going, who got a computer in their home? Raise your hand. Okay. If you ask the same question in Africa, almost nobody in the room is going to raise their hand. You know why? Because that's a lot of money to get a computer. They go to what they call a cafe. They go to a cafe. And if they have a computer technology on their phone, they have to pay for monthly data plan. So who knows the app called WhatsApp? Who got that app? WhatsApp. Have you ever heard of that application on the phone? It's called WhatsApp. And you can email and all that. Here in America, the first year it used to be free always, but now you gotta pay 99 cents. In Africa, you gotta pay what they call a data plan. So the things we take for granted here is just, it's unreal. Like, we can go from one place to another place in 15 minutes. That 15 minutes in Africa may take 2 hours.
Wow.
That's how bad some of the roads are. The traffic is gridlock. I mean, literally, you ain't moving nowhere. It's gridlock. Yes, what make it? Yes, go ahead.
When I was okay, in America, like if something costs like $100 in Africa or Nigeria, it costs more than that. It costs like $300.
It's a lot of money. The exchange rate is real different. Yes, sir.
Do African live the same as
No, they have what they call in Nigeria naira.
Oh,
So
yeah.
$1 US is equal to how many naira? $153. So if you got $1 in Africa, it's worth $153 in Nigeria.
And then what happens?
So that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Wait,
Yes, $1 is equal to 153
wait, so
naira. Now, Africa is considered a third world country. With all that wealth, the oils, the gold, the diamonds.
that's what we get
Yes, yes, sir.
I once saw this thing on TV. It was funny because this guy walked into a fruit shop and says, "My blackberry stopped working." He got a blackberry, a literal fruit blackberry.
Yes, sir.
In Africa, American dollar bill costs 153.
153. It's called naira. Naira. 153. Okay. Yes, David.
My mom has a $1,000 bill. How much is that equal to?
So you take 1,000 and you times it by 153, so that's what, 15,300? That's a lot of money. Yes, ma'am.
So depending on a person,
Listen, everybody.
depending on a person, how many shots do you think you would have to take to go to Africa?
Okay, when I have to do my shots, it's called vaccinations. I have to take a yellow fever shot. I have to take what is called a typhoid fever shot. I have to take a hepatitis A shot and a TB shot. Now, some other countries, depending on what part of Africa you're going to, you may have to take more. Another place wanted me to take 10 to 12 shots, but that was the excessive. So right now, and then I have what they call malaria pills. Malaria is something you can get if a mosquito bites you and you're not immune to it. The only person that's immune to malaria is a person with sickle cell anemia because their blood cells are circled. So it's a nasty little thing that the mosquitoes carry, so if they infect you with it. So 3 weeks before I go to Africa, I have to take malaria pills. While I'm there, I have to take a malaria pill once a week. And 4 weeks when I come back, I have to take a malaria pill, just so I won't get sick. When I go, I can't drink the water from the faucet. When I brush my teeth, I have to brush my teeth with bottled water. When I drink water, there has to be bottled water. When I make coffee, I have to make it from bottled water. Fruit, I can't eat any fruit that I can't peel. So if it's not an orange or something like that, banana, they don't recommend that I eat it. They recommend that I take soap and water and scrub it really, really good. Then also any vegetables like salads, they recommend I don't eat any salads over there because we're not used to the different bugs and things that are there, viruses and stuff. So they don't want me to get sick. If I was to get sick while I was there, then I have a pill that I have to take. It's called the traveler diarrhea pill. So if I see any signs of diarrhea, I have to take this medicine because I caught a bacteria. Yes, sir.
Why is $1 here in America cost $100? Is it like because
The stability of the economy. However strong your economy is, determines the value of your money. So if your economy has some challenges going on, whether it be corruption, whether it be development-wise, whether it be misappropriation of funds. It makes the value or a rating system.
Okay, because I thought it might be because there were 153 stitches in the.
No, it goes by, it's a rating system. Like at one point, we had what they call a 5-star rating. And then when we started misappropriating our funds and went to war and all that, our rating went down to 4-star. So depending on the rating of the country, how well developed it is, what people think it is as far as corruption, things like that, determine the value. Like in Canada, we used to be way ahead of the Canadian dollar. But at one point, the Canadian dollar was worth more than the American dollar. So it depends on what's going on with the country. Yes, sir.
I would say like unpeeled fruit.
Because there's a lot of pesticides that we're not used to here and bugs that can penetrate soft fruit. So if it's a mosquito and it bites that fruit and it has malaria or yellow fever or something like that, it can inject that virus into the fruit. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
But if it's a peel, but the peel cannot bite.